We live in a world where buying everyday items happens in a flash. You click a button and an algorithm handles the rest, dropping a box of household goods on your porch without speaking to another human. But that frictionless system breaks down the second the stakes get higher. When planning a massive bathroom remodel, buying a tailored suit, or seeking medical care, a simple Add to Cart button isn't enough to overcome the hesitation of a major investment. Technology and artificial intelligence can carry a buyer 98% of the way down the field, but algorithms routinely drop the ball on the 2-yard line. To actually cross that final gap, you need a person on the other end. The reason algorithms fail at the finish line comes down to a well-documented psychological barrier, the paradox of choice. This is the observation that having too many options causes anxiety and actively delays a decision. The internet provides an infinite menu of variations, reviews, and competitors. Instead of feeling empowered by this data, buyers become paralyzed, projecting the anxiety of every bad financial decision they've ever made onto this new transaction. To stop buyers from abandoning their carts and walking away, they don't need a spreadsheet with more data points. They need a cognitive simplifier, a person to step in, narrow the field, and guide them toward a safe choice. So how exactly does a person take a highly anxious buyer and engineer a confident yes without triggering their defense mechanisms? It requires a specific, structured sequence of events designed to move a prospect from initial curiosity to a final commitment. Amateurs try to force a sale the moment a prospect shows interest, effectively dragging the buyer to the cash register. The master takes a different route, waiting for the buyer to give them explicit permission to sell. Look at the old inbound call system for Weight Watchers. Representatives used to field 1 million calls a year by simply giving callers the times and locations of local meetings. The actual show-up rate for those meetings was terrible. The company added a single step before giving out the schedule. They scripted representatives to ask callers why they were picking up the phone today. Specifically, what was the personal motivation? Was it a high school reunion, a wedding, or a beach vacation? By stating their specific problem out loud, the caller transitions into asking for a solution. They feel entirely in control of the conversation, effectively inviting the representative to explain how the program can help, a shift that immediately doubled the actual show-up rates. Stage magicians use a technique called the card force. They offer you a deck and ask you to pick any card, creating the illusion of a free choice while rigidly controlling exactly which card you draw. This translates directly to the KISS principle in sales. Keep it simple, stupid. The job is to eliminate options, presenting a carefully curated handful of choices to prevent the buyer from getting confused. Live event data shows offering a crowd exactly 2 distinct choices, a $99 option and a $399 option, yields consistent revenue. A testing variable introduced a third, higher-priced option. Giving the audience this extra option caused total sales to plummet by 30%. Strict limits on available options prevent cognitive overload. You are trading the buyer's illusion of total freedom for their ability to actually make a confident decision. To remove the final financial friction, one technique involves selling money at a discount. It relies on framing the cost of a product entirely against the future financial gain it provides, rather than its raw price tag. This chart shows the baseline expense for a home improvement project. Replacing a home's windows sits at an upfront cost of $10,000, but presenting localized real estate data shows homes with these specific windows sell for 10 to 20% more. The financial friction disappears because the projected increase in home equity completely dwarfs the initial expense. The windows are perceived as effectively free, making it mathematically illogical for the buyer to walk away. The buyer walks away feeling perfectly autonomous, having made their own choices for their own reasons. Yet the salesperson exercised complete control over the entire maze from the very first syllable. Algorithms operate on logic, processing variables and statistics. They cannot replicate this kind of emotional navigation or adapt to the subtle fears a buyer brings to a high-stakes decision. This structured sequence of choices acts as a necessary cognitive rescue mission for consumers, who are otherwise paralyzed by information. As we move into a future where algorithms commoditize the basics, The most valuable skill left will be the distinctly human science of curating the chaos to engineer a confident yes.